Hi guys and gals, welcome to another 1 Plus Armor Battle Report. We're doing something a little different today. As you may or may not know, the guys were attending a ETC style tournament mid-April. So tonight what we're doing is we're practicing some lists. So I guess mainly for our European viewers and Scandinavian viewers, we have ETC comp restricted armies today. And yeah, we're going to do a little quick and dirty bat rep, going to seeing how they work out and whatnot. I'll go over my army. My army starts, I have 4 bolt throwers, 2 units of 5 Illyrian Reavers. I got a Frostheart Phoenix, what looks like a Griffin but is actually an Eagle that I'm proxying for today. I got a unit of 16 Silverhelms with shields, with a BSB. With the Sword of Might and Enchanted Shield, another Noble with just a great weapon and heavy armor, and then on this dragon will be a Prince with the Star Lance, other Trickster Shard, Charm Shield, and Dragon Armor. And then also I've got a level 4 Mage, sorry, on Shadow with the Book of Hoeth and the Obsidian Lodestone to give magic resistance 3. That's about it. I've deployed in a sort of refused flank style. Hopefully want to, sweep across here, but I have a feeling this party over here might hinder that plan.
Looks like I'm playing 40k.
Well, we'll go over Logan's army next.
Alright. So, on my side, I'm running Warriors of Chaos. I have 2 Chimeras with Regeneration and Flaming Breath. I have a Demon Prince of Slaanesh running Sword of Striking, Charmed Shield, and Dragonbane Gem. He's also got a Chaos Familiar and Soul Feeder and Scaly Skin.
Yeah.
Moving over, we've got a BSB on Demonic Mount. He's got a 3-up ward. He has a Halberd, and he has something else that I can't remember off the top of my head. Don't think it's anything important.
3+ ward.
Yeah, he's got 3+ ward. We'll come back to it if we need to. We've got 5 Skull Crushers with the War Banner. We've got a Chariot with Mark of Slaanesh. Another Chariot with Mark of Slaanesh. And then 20 Warriors of Chaos with Hand Weapon and Shield and Mark of Tzeentch. For spells, I will have to have my compatriot Nick hand them to me when he's done with the cat there. But before we get there, I'll do a quick overview of the terrain we have on this table. We've got a small lake here. We have a hill, a forest, and this is actually a magical hill. It gives +1 movement, weapon skill, and ballistic skill to anyone who ends their movement phase on there. Got a wall in the middle, another hill over there, and a piece of impassable terrain here. And the reason that's important is in ETC comp, hills and impassable terrain block line of sight entirely and are infinitely tall, as are forests actually. They don't block line of sight, but they are infinitely tall. So with that in mind, it really restricts what bolt throwers and cannons can do. For example, those 2 bolt throwers there can't see my right-hand Chimera. Those 2 can't see the left-hand Chimera. So it's stuff like that. So it makes it a bit more fair if you're going up against cannon-heavy armies. But again, there's all sorts of other stuff. So Nick, what do you have for magic?
Well, I'm running Shadow, so I rolled Miasma, the Enfeebling Foe, Pit of Shades, and Occam's Mindrazor.
Alright, and would you be able to hand me my cards? They're just in front of you there. Figure out what I've got. Here we go. So, on Slaanesh, I have Pavane, which is the 3d6 leadership test. I have Acquiescence, which gives Always Strikes Last and Random Movement d6. Hysterical Frenzy, which gives Frenzy, and if they already have Frenzy, it just gives them another attack. I have Phantasmagoria, which is a unit that has to add d6 whenever they take a leadership test, and they discard their lowest roll. And then I have Cacophonic Choir, which does 2d6 hits at wound on 4+, ignoring armor, gives all strikes last, and random movement d6. So with that, we're into our roll-off here. I do have the +1, and I'm going to have to use one of Nick's dice. Oh, thank you very much. Let's see who's going first. That'll be Warriors.
Yep.
Alright, good luck, Nick.
Good luck, left handshake.
We're here at the end of Warriors turn 1. We didn't have too much movement. The Warriors and the Chariot moved up just slightly. Chariot's up on the hill, so he'll get the bonus. Skull Crushers just inched up a little bit to try to get some cover from those bolt throwers since they use ballistic skill shooting. And then my BSB jumped out in front of them. Over on this side, we just sort of scurried back to get different line of sight restrictions, so those bolt throwers are going to have a hard time shooting anything. and only one of those is in range of the Chimeras. For Magic phase, we tried to do, what was it here? Pavane, the leadership test one, on the bolt thrower right there. Nick let it go, and it did not do any wounds. But after that, we 5-diced Acquiescence on the Prince on Star Dragon, miscast, and it went off. The result of that was a 9, I think. It was the one where I take a Strength 6 hit and lose d6 dice, but I had no more dice. The hit did get rid of my Charm Shield on my Demon Prince, though. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. With that, we are going into High Elves turn 1.
Turn 1. Very conservative movement up. Just move the fast cav up, reposition some stuff, put the bus on the hill. He had Acquiescence on him, so he only could move up d6 inches. Casted Magic, the only thing I was able to get off was Miasma on the Skull Crushers. That reduced their weapon skill, plus skill initiative movement by 3. I also tried to do the cheeky thing of casting Pit of Shades while their initiative was 2, but Logan dispelled that, unfortunately, for me. Bolt throwers, one missed over there, one missed here, one here hit the chariot, caused 2 wounds, and the Reavers did nothing. So we're going into Logan's turn 2.
We're here at the end of Warriors turn 2. For movement, for charges, first off, this chariot charged those Reavers who decided to flee, and then he tried to redirect into the Eagle and failed his charge by 1 inch. So he just puttered forward a little bit. Other chariot moved up, and he's going to get his +1 movement bonus again from the Blessed Hill. Warriors shambled up. BSB moved over just behind them to try to get some cover from shooting. Skull Crushers, brave Skull Crushers, moved back 2 inches. Over here, the Chimeras reoriented themselves to hide from both bolt throwers, and my Demon Prince peeked out just a little bit to try to cast some magic. For the magic phase, I got Phantasmagoria off on Nick's General, which forces him to roll an extra d6 and then drop the lowest result for any leadership tests. And then I cast Pavane of Slanesh on him, which gives him a 3d6 leadership test, boosted to 4d6 from that spell, and then he has to drop the lowest die and take that many wounds with no armor saves. So he ended up taking 3 wounds and passed 2 of his ward saves about it. But the one thing we're not entirely clear on, and we're just checking into the rules, is how that works for Monster and Rider, because the shooting says I can't target him specifically, but there doesn't seem to be any rules for magic, so that's up in the air. We've got the feeler out there, and from the person who's going to be judging the tournament, he responds saying, you pick. So we're going to run with how it is for now, and if we're wrong, feel free to correct us. Please cite it if you can, so that we know exactly what you're talking about. But with that, we're going into High Elves turn 2.
High Elves turn 2. So it went a little better this time. I did a combo charge with the Frostheart Phoenix. He's flying easier, but
he's that base.
And the Silverhelm bus into the Tzeentch Warriors. I broke them in combat, and they fled. Unfortunately, I didn't catch them. I casted some magic, Miasma on these to reduce their weapon skill by 2, so now they're weapon skill 2, and enfeebling 3, sorry,
yep.
And enfeebling foe on these guys, which helped win me the combat. Other than that, shooting was kind of uneventful. Picked off wounds here and there. Moved up the Star Dragon Prince here. I had a group of Reavers that didn't pass their rally test, so they fled off the board. Other than that, I moved the Eagle here to preserve my bolt throwers from being killed by a charge. Other than that, it's still a tight game, I think. These guys are open to charge from the Skull Crushers. I was expecting to do a flank and then getting in here, but what are you going to do? Yeah, so that'll be Logan's turn 3.
Alright, here at the end of Warriors turn 3. Or the flubbing of the dice, whichever you want to call it. So over here, we had a Chariot charge into a Great Eagle. Didn't kill it. Failed to catch it. Over here, we had a BSB charge into the Frostheart Phoenix. Did a single wound. Didn't take any, fortunately. And then it broke. I tried to pursue. Didn't catch it by 1 inch. Over here, Skull Crushers tried to charge the Silverhelms. They fled, which was a really smart move on Nick's part, because now his dragon can just sort of come in and poop through all of them. So they moved up, took Dangerous Terrain from charging over the fence, took a wound, killed a Skull Crusher. Other than that, the Chimeras are positioned out of line of sight of the Bolt Throwers and out of the charge arc of the big dude there. Demon Prince is positioned so he could see a bunch of stuff and not be able to be charged. Both my things that fled last turn rallied, and magic, nothing, well, not really anything happened. I got that spell that does the leadership thing, Phantasmagoria, off on his general, but he managed to dispel the Pavane. So, with that, we're going into High Elves turn 3.
Alright, High Elves turn 3. I did one charge, the Star Dragon Prince, into the flank of the Skull Crushers. Unfortunately, the Prince died due to a Skull Crusher, but the Dragon, as you can see, took care of business. Shooting was uneventful. This is kind of sad. I missed both shots at killing this one chariot, so I might lose a bow thrower now. My eagle didn't rally. So at this point, the bus rallied. So at this point, it's an interesting game so far as to what's going to happen, to be honest. Getting rid of the Skull Crushers is a huge threat to get rid of. Other than that, we'll see what happens. Alright, off to Logan's turn 4.
Hey, we're here at the end of Warriors turn 4. This game's getting really interesting. We had the Chariot here charge into the Illyrian Reavers, who are now dead. At the back there, we had the Chariot charge into a War Machine and make full abuse of the War Machine basing rules. So he went to the side and then overran into the other War Machine. And then up here, we had my Demon Prince and Chimera charge into the Silverhelm bus, killed off 8 of them or something, 6, 7, 8. They were steadfast though, so they hung around. Chimera used his breath weapon and did pretty well. Moved my BSB up here to block a flank charge from the Star Dragon, but also managed to get Acquiescence off on the Star Dragon, so he has Always Strikes Last and Random Movement D6. So it's going to be interesting. Something over here is definitely going to die. We'll see what happens with that Silverhelm bus. I suspect it will hopefully break next turn. But with that, we're going into High Elves turn 4.
Alright, so I charged with the Frostheart into the Chariot here, killed it, reformed. Yeah, actually the Phoenix is pointing this way. With Random Movement, was able to charge one of the Chimeras with the Dragon, killed him. Combat continued here. I fed one more character into the Demon Prince and managed to stick around, but unfortunately it's Logan's next turn, so likely he will break this unit. And yeah.
And then I'll still have a Star Dragon and a Frostfire Phoenix to worry about.
Yeah.
Frostar Phoenix. It's a tight game so far.
Magic was uneventful. Yeah, so it'll be Logan's turn 5.
Alright. Here at the end of Warriors 5, this game is one hell of a slugfest. Good lord. Over here, we had my Chariot took out his last War Machine, or on that flank, at the end of last turn. So he charged into the Silverhelm bus. We killed off all of the Silverhelms except for the musician in the unit. He fled. I did not manage to catch him. Over here, we had the BSB go into the bird, didn't do any wounds. And then over here, threw Choir at him, it got dispelled with all of Nick's dice, so I threw Acquiescence at him, so he's got Random Movement D6, so he's not charging anything this turn, thank God. We'll see where that goes. So remaining in here, Nick's got his Frostheart Phoenix, which can still... It's probably going to be there with my BSB for a long time. It's going to depend on whether or not this guy is getting into combat. And then we got 2 Bolt Throwers, which are likely going to do a hell of a lot of damage too. So with that, we are going into High Elves turn 5. Hey everyone, we're here at the end of turn 6. We just rolled into 1. Sorry, what's that, Nick?
Just counting my hand.
Alright, so at the end of the game, for Nick, he's got his Frostheart Phoenix and his Star Dragon and 2 Bolt Throwers.
50, 390, plus 140.
And we'll let Nick do the math there.
Yeah.
I've got my Demon Prince, my Warriors above half strength, and a Chimera, which is about 1,000 points left, I think. So it's still going to be... Oh, and my BSB, who's under 300. So it's going to be a really close game. We'll just do the math, and we'll come back on a little bit of the video, and we'll get Nick's thoughts here as well, and just have a quick chat about this.
Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the CT-style game. Logan won by 879 points. I'm not sure how that converts on the ETC scale. I think it's like a 14 or 15 point win.
Yeah, they've got a pretty big point spread.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Something
so
like that.
Be a 15 point win, which if you're well, for us it's a 4-man team. So if 3 of us got 15 points and 1 person screwed up and got 5, you'd still get max points for the first 3 rounds because it's max 50 points.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet. To be honest, I like the list. I might change the magic lore. Shadow I find may not offer as much as I thought it would in terms of this army. I might try Death since I have some space left in the comp. I didn't expect to steamroll Logan because I knew for one he was running Slanesh magic, and with so few units, with me relying on mobility so much, him targeting mobility specifically would be a real threat to me. And also his list is kind of the chaos mirror list to mine. He's got a lot of flyers, he's got a lot of mean flying threats similar to me. So I expected it to be kind of a fight like it ended up being, and it was definitely a good game, good learning experience for our ETC tournament coming up.
Yeah, I think the really pivotal stuff in this game was the fact that I had pretty good magic phases overall, but the really important part there is that I had both Acquiescence and Cacophonic Choir.
Yeah.
So pretty much no matter what happened in the magic phase, unless I only had like 4 dice, and even then it's still a threat, is being able to get at least one of those off on the Prince with the Dragon.
So my dragon spent most of the game on random movements.
Yeah, three or four turns.
Yeah.
Which was an absolute lifesaver. Like, he still managed to get into combat one of those turns.
He still took out a fair share of points.
Killed the Chimera, killed the Skull Crushers, which is...
Chimera Skull Crushers killed this, so he got his points back.
It's about 900 points, yeah. He did a lot. So, yeah, he was still good. The threat's huge. The Frostheart Phoenix is just a pain in the ass to kill. Mm-hmm. I think I agree with your thoughts earlier about taking the second Phoenix, simply because, like, we're playing on the most basic of the ETC tables, and simply because the Bolt Throwers have ballistic skill shooting, and you've got Impassable and Hills blocking line of sight, and Forests always giving hard cover, or soft cover, I should say, from being infinitely tall. I feel like that maybe the second Phoenix might be a better choice, but we'll test it out and we'll see how it goes. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd like to try this list again, maybe on Death, and see if Death adds more, because it adds that sniping threat that would help kind of deal with what we were looking at here. But yeah, other than that, if that still doesn't work, we could try going the full Flying Circus, get rid of the Bolt Throwers, add a Great Eagle and a Frostheart, and see how that works out.
All right, excellent. Overall, what do you think of all the ETC stuff compared to how we usually play it out?
To be honest, I don't mind it an awful lot, and the reason is because we play so much out of the book Warhammer, it's kind of meta changing. So you take different lists, and it kind of just feels different. It's not I don't like it more or less. It's just kind of playing a bit of a different game to it. It's not a problem. I don't think it's any more balanced. Like Logan's list, I think would be competitive in a regular out of the book tournament meta. So I don't really think ETC really. Well, here's the thing, and we were talking about this earlier. I think maybe ETC doesn't do much for the high level books, but it brings the low level books maybe a little higher up.
Yeah, the extra points for Tomb Kings, no crumbling, Beastman getting 400 points or something.
Yeah, Orcs and Goblins getting an extra 100 points.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to testing our list for the upcoming Canhammer Team Tournament.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks for the game, Nick, and we'll be back with more.
All right.
Oh, also, speaking of the tournaments, we got to do our normal plugs.
Okay, Swords of Magic coming up this Saturday.
This video will probably be up after that happens, but
yeah, exactly.
Check it out, oneplusarmor.com.
So we had Swords of Magic not too long ago.
It was a great success, so I can tell you otherwise.
Yeah, everybody loved it. Everybody was a winner. No, anyways, we had that. What else coming up? With the Northern Defenders Open 7, that's coming up March 7th and 8th. A bunch of us are driving up to compete in that as well. Then a Canhammer Team Tournament on April 18th and 19th. Yep. And then you may see us, we're playing with guys from another channel. We won't release it yet, but yeah. And then afterwards, there's also the Green Mountain Boys Vermont GT coming up July 18th and 19th, I think.
The VT GT, that's in Bolton, Vermont.
Yeah.
And then there's also, on the same weekend as ND Open, there's the War Masters Challenge in Southern Ontario. So check that out, too.
That's right. Tons of tournaments. We'll try to post them all up on our website, oneplusarmor.com. If you like looking at tournaments in the northeastern U.S. or, kind of the central Canadian area. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel.
All right.